Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshabdreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. We're reading from 7th canto, 15th chapter, text 74. Just get it on the screen. Dharmas de Griha Medio Varnitaha Papa Nashanaha Grihasto Yena Padvavim Agyasa Nyasinam Iyat Dharmaste Griha Medio Varnita Papanashana Grihasto Yena Padavim Agyasanya Sinamiyat Dharmaste Griha Medio Varnita Papanashana Grihasto Yena Padavim Agyasanaya Sinamiyat Dharmaste Griha Medio Varnita Papanashana Grihasto Yena Padavim Agyasanya Sinamiyat. Please chant. Dharmaste Griha Medio Varnita Papanashana Nilasto Agyasana Sinamiyat. Dharmaste Griha Medio Varnita Papanashana Grihasto Yena Padavim Agyasanya Sinamiyat. Dharmaste Griha Medio Varnita Papanashana Agyasanya Sinamiyat. Dharmaha, that religious process. Te, to you. Griha Media, although attached to household life. Varnita, explained by me. Papanashana, the destruction of sinful reactions. Grihastaha, person in household life. Jena, by which. Padavim, the position. Agyasa, very easily. Nyasinam, those in the renounced order of life. Iyat, can obtain. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by this chanting, even householders, grihastas, can very easily gain the ultimate result achieved by persons in a renounced order. Maharaj Yudhishthira, I have now explained to you that process of religion. Please repeat. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by this chanting, even householders, grihastas, can very easily gain the ultimate result achieved by persons in a round order. Maharaj Yudhishthira, I have now explained to you that process of religion. Perfect. This is a confirmation of the Krishna consciousness movement. Anyone who takes part in this movement, regardless of what he is, can gain the topmost result achieved by the perfect sannyasi, namely Brahma Jnana, spiritual knowledge. Even more important, he can advance in devotional service. Maharaj Yudhishthira thought that because he was a grihasta, there was no hope of his being liberated, and therefore he asked Narada Muni how he could get out of material entanglement. But Narada Muni, citing a practical example from his own life, established that by associating with devotees and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, any man in any condition of life can achieve the highest perfection without a doubt. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjanan Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitayena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Karamayam Padantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Vanchakalpatrubhascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatate Shatarine. So, we'll talk today about chanting, because this is what the purport talks and translation talks about. And before I start, I ask you all your blessings so I can share something on the Bhagavatam. I can try glorify chanting in some extent. And yeah, so I'm just gonna open the verse here. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that regardless of your situation, where are you at, either you're a grihasta or a brahmachari or sannyas, chanting is so powerful that it can, anyone can, draw the same results by simply nicely chanting and engaging in a devotee association. So devotee association here is very important because it kind of connects to all these devotional activities, taking prasad, going to streets, sankirtan, book distribution, harinams, and chanting. So, and also reading. So all these activities very much connected with the devotee association. And as we found out yesterday, Mataji was talking about how even we might deviate if we are in this association with devotees. We naturally going to be dragged away. It's same as like being in a river, right? If you're trying to swim against the current, naturally we're just going to be so tired. The river's just going to take us to the right direction. So in the way, it's very important to have that right association. And when we have right association, all these activities become much more easier to execute, especially chanting. And so there's this one thing that Prabhupada kind of like mentions in the purport that anyone who takes part in this Krishna consciousness movement, can attain Brahma Jnana, the spiritual knowledge. So this is very important point, because oftentimes when we start the spiritual journey, maybe we've seen it on the streets, or maybe we've also been through that, is that we think that spirituality is some sort of like a sentiment. We're thinking, everything is love, everything is one, and it's a sort of like a natural state. But actually, we have to require knowledge. We have to understand what is that thing. As it describes in the scriptures, is that yes, we are, as a soul, we are naturally situated. Our natural position is, be servants of Krishna, be on that spiritual platform. But because we are forgetting all these things, we have to get the knowledge, we have to revive this this constitutional position. So, and this is a very important point, because without knowledge we won't be able to properly progress. So spiritual knowledge is it's a shastra, is like a sword, right? So you can cut all the ignorance and all the doubt, right? So if you are equipped with the sword of the knowledge, we can easily cut our doubts and also help others as well in that way. So Krishna consciousness movement is very scientific. Usually I say on streets when I meet people, I say, this is not just another cult. we actually providing very, very, as Sri Prabhupada has brought us so much to read, so much spiritual knowledge, that we can read this, and then we can go on in life and experience it, do experiment, just like we do in science. And when we do experiment, we can draw conclusions, we can see results, and see if it works. So if we don't have that knowledge, then all the spiritual activities only stay on this belief platform. Oftentimes, I see it's just. So we need an initial belief, but in order to convince ourselves, we actually have to gain some knowledge. So at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, also Sri Prabhupada in his introduction says that if at least someone just theoretically accepts that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead, right? And then, so we have that initial belief, and then we acquire knowledge where we become fully convinced, right? So initially we believe, but when we get the knowledge, we reach to the platform where we know, right? We can say, oh, I know this, right? The same way I can say that, I know I have family, I stay in this temple, things like that are just very obvious, right? So by just cultivating knowledge through association, through chanting, through reading, we can also get to this platform of not just believing, but actually knowing and be certain about these things. Yeah. So we'll go back to. So this is the first part of the Prabhupada focuses on, but there's also I will talk a little bit about chanting. Myself, I'm maybe not the most qualified to talk about chanting, because I still struggle with lower modes of nature. But I will say at least something I have realized so far. Sometimes you might feel hopeless, saying that I've been chanting, but nothing really is happening, or it's like maybe I feel like I'm unworthy, unqualified, but by this example that Narada Muni tells to Maharishi Yudhishthira, that even himself, he came from the higher planetary systems and became a Shudra, and even in that situation he was able to get that association and elevate himself to this platform attaining his spiritual form as a Narad Muni. So, and especially here is mentioned that even grihastas can easily, achieve this perfection, because because in the grihastha life, we have to deal with a lot of attachments. We have family. Because we have family, we need a job, we need a house. These days, you also need a car, and different other paraphernalia. So there's a lot of things to get attached to. Whereas being as a brahmachari it is maybe easier in that way. But still, even being a brahmachari, the little possessions that we have, we can get easily attached to. So we have to be careful in any situation. But as Prabhupada says, even in a grihastha life, is by just simply chanting and associating with devotees, we can easily attain perfection. And Prabhupada says that without doubt, right? And there's no doubt that this process works. So in the same way, oftentimes Prabhupada says sentences like this, that there's without doubt, there's no we shouldn't be afraid, we shouldn't. So it's the same way as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Sarva dharma prityaja mamekam sharanam vajam aham tam sarva pabhyavyo mokshashami masuchaha. He says masuchaha. He says that do not fear, just surrender to me, right? So, and I've heard also some devotees interpret this as not just do not fear, but also don't hesitate, because this process of chanting is so powerful. He said that we shouldn't just postpone it to other time. So we should take it up now, and we shouldn't be afraid of, because this knowledge is realized, right? So this is a realized scripture, because it's coming from the parampara system, from our acharyas, and they have realized this knowledge. So there's certainly no doubt. We just have to follow these footsteps and execute to the best ability that we can. I want to mention just a couple maybe experience that maybe I had as Sankirtan, the power of the Maha Mantra. So Ishan Prabhu and I, one day we were in Perth, and then there's different people in Perth, and then there's one specific person who was he was very passionate, and he might be something on something as well. He was quite active, but he seemed to kind of show a lot of interest in religion and things like that. So I asked him, have you met monks before? He said yes, in Tibet. He's been collecting different scriptures, Bible, Quran, what else not. And I said, well, I have a perfect book for you. I have Bhagavad Gita, another book in your collection. And at the end I said that we actually tried to teach having a little prayer. So I asked, do you believe in the power of prayer? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so we went one by word. I said Hare Krishna. He said Hare Krishna. And then we went through the whole mantra. And after we finished, his mood changed like this, 180 degrees. He's like, whoa. I don't know what happened really. It was just I was teaching him mantra, and then he said oh, I'm gonna take this leaflet as well, and you can see it's he became really calm, and he's kind of more focused, because he was just kind of wandering around. His friends were running there as well at the background, and that was that also struck me a little bit, because then I saw a little bit the power of the Maha Mantra. And then there's another story was that one time with a big group with Prabhus from Leicester, we went on Buchanan Street for Harinam, and I remember there was this protest going on. I think there was two parties. I think there's something related with Palestinian situation. I'm not I don't know much about politics, unfortunately, but I remember when we were passing by, it was quite crowded, so we were passing by, and the crowd was kind of looking opposite direction, and they were just screaming, shouting something, So the first time we passed by, nothing happened, and then as we were coming back, we were just we were just also chanting, and somehow or other everyone just turned. Everyone was like, yeah, woo, like, and so, everyone was kind of like kind of recognized that we try to bring good energy, bring that peace, and yeah, that was really nice. And there was another time. There was another time also on Buchanan Street. There was some two boys that I stopped, and they seemed to be maybe intoxicated, but so the only thing I could do is like teach them to chant Gauranga. So I said, can you say Gauranga? And everyone, both of them just started jumping, like Gauranga, 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 and then we were just Gauranga, Gauranga, and then after a few seconds, Alan Prabhu, so he also just came, and he's like looks around like this. Gauranga, 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 and then we were four of us just jumping there, Gauranga, and then two Indian gentlemen just walking by. And we also dragged them in. They also started Gauranga, Gauranga. So it's a very blissful process, and these little experiences on the streets, just sharing that holy name, is one of the things for me personally that kind of sticks to the mind the most. And yeah, it's just a blissful process. So the whole, there's just so much to talk about the chanting and then the holy name. And there's just one little thing I want to read from second canto. So Prabhupada explains that. Prabhupada explains actually that sound vibration is a sort of like a subtle characteristic of the object, right? So he says, so therefore sound is the subtle characteristic of the object. Similarly, sound representation of the Lord in terms of these characteristics is the complete form of the Lord, as we have seen by Vasudeva and Maharaj Dasharanta, the fathers of Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. The sound representation of the Lord is none different from the Lord himself, because the Lord and his representation is sound are absolute knowledge. Lord Chaitanya has instructed us that in the holy name of the Lord, as sound representation of the Lord, all the potencies of the Lord are invested. Thus one can immediately enjoy the association of the Lord by the pure vibration of the sound representation of his holy name. And the concept of the Lord is immediately manifested before the pure devotee. Pure devotee therefore is not aloof from the Lord even for a moment. The holy name of the Lord, as recommended in the Shastras, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, may therefore be constantly chanted by the devotee, aspiring to be constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord. So, Shri Shri Kalintai Mayapur Shashi Ki Jai. So, by simply chanting, or at least trying to chant, we can get, as it says, we can get direct association with Krishna himself. So chanting is, and then the whole process of Krishna consciousness is very interesting in a sense that at the beginning, when we take up Krishna consciousness, Krishna is very kind because he gives this like a boost. He sees that we try, and he gives like extra push. So it's like so we are like infants, like babies, and we're trying to say Krishna. The same as like the child is trying to say mama, in the same sense, when that happens, then naturally, when the child says mama or papa or whatever it is, or daddy, or it's then the parent is very very much touched by it, because it's just even the child might not understand. The parent is like his heart is broken. It's like that's it. So in the same sense, we are like children in the Krishna conscious path. We try to call out Krishna's name, and whenever we manage to get a pure holy name, then Krishna is like, I saw that, and I will remember that. It's like, so nothing is really lost, right? Any endeavor we make on this path is never going to be lost. So yeah, we are humbly trying to chant the holy name, and from the lecture by Adosha Prabhu, as I remember, like it's almost like we are like almost blind men. We're trying to shoot arrows, and we try to aim. We're trying to find the aim with the target, and whenever we just the process is just trying to shoot as many arrows as possible, and at one point we just like, oh, there we go, this is the one, and then we just keep shooting more and more. So yeah, so 16 rounds is like a minimum. That's where we start chanting, and yeah, from my own practice, from my own experience, I noticed that even if it's just off the beats, finishing after 16 rounds, just having chanting on the counter, or just trying to chant in the mind, or just whatever we do some service, really helps us for the next day to prepare. And because we always try to always be in that with that Maha mantra. So another thing I want to mention is yeah, so maybe there's a question or comment or any reflection, or maybe anyone can maybe share something they have realized or experienced about chanting, then maybe anyone else can get inspired. Maybe there's anything anyone want to share. Yes, Prabhu. So by just chanting faster. Yeah. No, I think Prabhu was saying 5 minutes. 5 minutes round. 5 minutes round. Yeah. Yeah. So, just 5 million is sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Maybe so. This is just my thinking. Maybe some Prabhupada just gave those 16 rounds in order to, because he probably understood that after doing the 16 rounds, we might reach a breakthrough, and then we might thinking, oh, maybe I should chant more. And yeah, it's it is like that. So many things going on in the mind. If you're still thinking about something we did yesterday, or it's maybe just really hard to pronounce mantra. Just like it's almost like starting a car during winter. It's like need some time to get it going. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Dr. Prabhu also have been giving a lot of guidance on that. After 11th and 12th round, usually it's kind of this is breakthrough where you start to the mantra starts to flow more nicely. It's and there's not much more resistance anymore. Because oftentimes, yeah, it is we when we start chanting, we deal with lower modes in nature, and thinking, oh, okay, 16 rounds again, here we go, But as from yesterday's class, is that even if we are not maybe in a mood of chanting, is that we have to go from emotion to devotional, right? So even if we are not having any pleasure whatsoever from chanting, then we should see it as a service, and this is for the pleasure of Krishna, right? And then naturally, when we just kind of keep going, then have a breakthrough, yeah, for sure. And naturally, then we want to chant more. So, anything else? Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It's like recently we had doing Rath Yatra, we had a Gundicha cleaning um, um, the day when the Gundicha temple was cleaned by Lord Chaitanya and his disciples, and we were reading just the translations. I remember that also everyone was so blissful with just cleaning brushing the temple that at one point they were just kind of like when they were passing buckets and brushes, they were like Krishna, 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 Krishna. They were not even saying anything. They were just, instead of just they understood. They just kind of like just chanting all the time, and not saying anything else, just like Krishna, 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 Krishna. Just and I guess in the same sense, like when we if you keep that mantra, Maha mantra going on our tongues during a service time, and then yeah, we can always be connected. So yeah, I guess morning programs in temple was good in that sense, because when we wake up, we are in a mood of ignorance, and the Mangalarti actually means sort of this auspicious time where we go from this darkness to the mood of goodness. So and then we have this morning program, and then throughout the day we just keep it kind of like steady. We keep it going, by just chanting constantly. So yeah, the morning program is good to just gives that first kick. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. So. So yeah, the only two. I was just going through my notes. I believe this from someone's lecture. I remember the two only real things in this world that has a true existence is the soul and then the holy name. Right? So our job is to connect these things, right? And I found it also sometimes it's good meditation when you think it's like there's nothing really with a true existence just except yourself and the Maha Mantra, right? So, and in Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna says that all the otherwise personalities have realized of something that has no true existence, there's no endurance, and for something that has a true existence, it never changes, right? There's no such thing of changing. So these two things, as you know, we as a spiritual soul and the holy name, it always stays constant. It's always like a stable platform that we can always lean, because everything else changes in this world. We're trying to as Prabhupada, a lot of places, especially in lectures, he says that all the foolish ones think that my family or my society is going to save me, but these things just they come and go. Same as clouds, they just come and go. The same as the happiness, distress, winter and summer seasons, they just come and go. But the holy name is always there, and we as a soul, we also we never age, we never die. So everything around us is just always moving. So naturally we have this desire, this tendency to be on this stable position, and by chanting the holy name is the way to change that position. So Harinama eva kevanam kononaste vanaste eva gati anyanyata. So there's in this age of hypocrisy and quarrel, there's the only way of deliverance is the chanting the holy name. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other way. Thank you. If there's not anything else, any question or comment? Yes, Prabhu.
There's one other sample. He says that before he chants warm up rounds as well. And he drinks a lot sometimes together with the chanting. So does he consider them proper rounds? I think that we have to do 16 warm up rounds. How does he find it? He takes about 3 rounds, which is Nirvana.
Yeah. You also mentioned a lot about the that when we starting chanting, we just trying to mechanically trying to get it on the tongue, trying to get going, and then gradually can start entering the ear. We start to hear the Maha Mantra, and then if and then we are actually trying to hear, you can actually enter the heart as well. So yeah, that beginning process is it takes some time. Maybe also some other it's important to get those rounds and kind of breakthrough, because otherwise if you just go on along with it, we start assuming that this is what chanting is, and we never really get to that breakthrough. And I remember Kadambakana Maharaj saying in one lecture is that we have to get out of our way. We have to really not get comfortable, but kind of really just always do more. And in the same way is that one day this is as I mentioned before, when we started practicing Krishna consciousness, then we get a lot of good energy, a lot of get a good kickstart from Krishna. But then Krishna's like, well, what else can you do? And then so maybe something satisfied me yesterday doesn't satisfy me today. So the same way, like maybe on a kirtan we have maybe a static experience, but then next day I've been trying to do the same moves, the same way I play kartos, the same Mridanga beat, but it's not happening, you know. So yeah, Maharaj was saying that you just, you know, every day you have to conquer Krishna again and again. The thing maybe worked yesterday might not work today. And the same as like I found also in Sankirtan sometimes, that I feel like Krishna is just kind of expecting, okay, what's gonna be today's line, you know, because Krishna is everyone's heart, and so he's always kind of present. So he said, what's gonna be today's line, you know? Can you surprise me, kind of like that. And yeah, with the chanting as well, you know, if he, you know, Krishna wants to see that we try more, you know, we're stepping up and we're trying to do some more. So yeah. Jai. Oh yes, Prabhu. Can you say again, Prabhu? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, notice that as well very much. Just yeah, oftentimes, just this judging mentality comes, and the way I think is like, oh, hello, Mr. Mind, oh, Mr. Mind. Just try to right away identify that, oh, this is something separate to me. It's just, and just it's gonna just keep going there, but it's like if you just ignore it, okay, just, you know, it's there. It's like okay, and naturally it kind of goes away, but sometimes you feel like maybe tired and not in a good mood. You can get really just you know, get along with it, you know, and yeah, it might affect the whole day, and it's not good. Yeah, thank you so much. Kancharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nidai Gaur Premanandi, Hariva. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.